All right, time for a daily news roundtable. And we often talk about Trump and Twitter and comments that come out of this. But what's interesting is seeing these students in Florida and really around the country fighting back on Twitter.
Well, that's right. So a lot of people took issue with a tweet that he released over the weekend where he essentially conflated the school shooting in Florida, the deadliest school shooting in a high school in American history, and the Russia probe, where he said, very sad that the FBI missed all the many signals. This is not acceptable. They are spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion. Get back to the basics and make us all proud. And the students took to Twitter to react. Somebody said, oh, my God, 17 of my classmates and friends are gone, and you have the audacity to make this about Russia. Have a damn heart. And another person tweeted that, you know what isn't acceptable? Blaming everyone but the shooter and the lack of gun control in our country. You even blame the students. Your lack of sympathy proves how pitiful of a person you are. So, Donald Trump has been very successful at communicating, bypassing the press, and using Twitter to get his message out. And it looks like students are taking a page out of his own book, bypassing sort of the cacophony and cutting through and speaking directly to people like us.
It's one thing to go against other politicians. It's another thing to go against the FBI. Is he going to take on students? That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's what's so remarkable about the events that have happened in Florida. This particular case, seeing those students, and I said to you when we were rolling a clip first thing this morning, I said to you off camera, I said, I am so in awe of these students because it really feels like the first time where you've seen these students get up to the mic and speak so well, and their message is so powerful, and they're speaking, as they say, to the adults of this country.
It is, and that is true. And there is a glimmer of hope. I think a lot of us are really hoping that these kids will be the one thing that affects real change. But let's remember that under President Obama, when he controlled the Senate, he couldn't get background checks passed. Now that you have a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate. So the chance of that happening, even in the face of these kids who are going to walk out of school, they're going to march on Washington.
And all the backing from the NRA with a lot of these politicians. I mean,
is it likely? No. Are we hopeful? Yes. Is it likely? No.
Yeah. All right.
All right, let's change gears.
Shall we, hun?
Yes.
Thanks, sweetie. Thanks, sweetie. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Does this happen to you ever when you're at a restaurant?
Sure.
And the server will say, oh, hun, or you're checking out the grocery store. Oh, hun, how you doing? Did you find everything you're looking for, sweetie?
Yes, happens all the time.
There is a writer for the Washington Post named Tim Carmen. Carmen. He apparently loves this. He said he may be not the norm. He loves it when those terms of endearment are thrown his way when he is at a restaurant and makes him feel loved. The counter side to this is a lot of people say, it feels a little condescending. It feels like you're treating me like a child. Miss Manners, I'm just going to quote Miss Manners by saying, terms of endearment are not suitable for commercial transactions.
A commercial transaction is a very broad term. You've got mom and pop shops. You've got.
You like it?
Yeah, well, it depends on where I am.
Really?
If I'm sitting at a diner,
yes,
I absolutely, it works with the setting. If I'm paying for a dinner that costs me hundreds of dollars, I don't think it's necessarily appropriate. But if I'm at a Waffle House in North Carolina, absolutely.
Oh. It could not.
See, it's interesting that you say the States, because when I'm traveling to visit family in the South, people say it all the time, and I find
specific.
It endearing. If I was at a restaurant in Toronto, however, and someone called me Hunter Sweetie, I think I'd find that a bit strange.
I cannot handle it.
Really?
I find it one of the most condescending things that could occur in my commercial transactions in my daily life. Yeah, I just can't.
You're sitting there ordering a waffle.
Yes.
And somebody, and an old lady comes by and gives you your refill of your coffee.
But it doesn't have to be an old lady. It could be a 22-year-old.
It's always an old lady.
No, it's not. This is my point. And I've been to many checkouts, and I get this is where I'm like, sorry, what? When you look like you're 16, and I mean, I look like I'm 25. I'm throwing that one out there. Anyway, but you say to me, hey, hun, did you find everything you were looking for, sweetie? And I'm looking around, like, are you talking to my child? Are you talking to the grown person that is checking out?
I don't have that experience.
Oh, I don't like it at all. It actually, like, I have a visceral reaction. I would know.
Would you prefer ma'am?
I would maybe just nothing.
Nothing.
No.
This is human interaction.
I know, but there's certain, I've got a threshold. I don't know why I have a visceral reaction.
Self-checkout kiosk.
Oh, I love those. I love them. I'm like the opposite of Brandon. Yeah. But I do that. I've told you I do that to my husband. I may use those names when I'm checking him out in the self-checkout line, which drives him.
You call him hun?
I will. I've told you this story, but when we're checking out of the self-checkout, and we'll be putting the things through, and I'll say, "Did you find everything you were looking for?" to my husband. He's like, can you not do this?
Pretend you're a cashier.
You don't work here. Hun.
Sweet.
Thanks, sweetie.